What's up everyone? I'm Russ, the Ordinary Tech Guy, and welcome to my home office remodel. You're gonna get to see me take my space looking like this to looking like this. Now, as somebody who works from home for a living and also does content creation, my home office is a very, very important space for me. And unfortunately, over the last couple of years, I've let it kind of fall behind, become cluttered, messy, unorganized. I have felt so much better about coming to this space each and every morning to work in. And so I want to take you along the journey of how I was able to transform my space into something much more aesthetically pleasing, as well as functional and practical for what I do on a day-to-day basis. Now, one thing I want to point out is I did a ton of research watching tons of desk setup videos and offices and the like, which I'm sure you're doing right now if you're watching this video. I want to point out that a lot of the videos had items that they were given for free that are way too expensive for the normal person to get. And in all honesty, a lot of them are things that I just don't understand the need for them and to spend that much money when there are alternatives that are just as good but less. So we're gonna go through that and through my setup, and for the most part, everything in this is pretty mid-level budget items. There are a couple items that are a little bit more pricey in the grand scheme of things, and could you find alternatives for a better price? Absolutely, but I was given a little bit of a stipend from my job for work from home office supplies, and so a couple of the items I purchased with that. So I want to make that very clear before we get going. I also want to let you know that I am not sponsored in any way. Nothing has been given to me. I'm a brand new YouTuber, and so you're gonna see everything purchased out of my own pocket besides the stuff that I got with my job. Now, if you have any questions about the stuff in my setup, of course, comment, ask questions. I'm happy to answer those. I'm also going to list as many items down in the description below with links to Amazon that do technically support me, as I do have an affiliate link association with Amazon. So I want to make that clear right off the get-go. I will also be doing a desk tour video where I go through each and every individual part, talk about it, talk about how I love it. This video is more going to be about the process of how I designed, came up with the ideas, and then set everything up, and you get to see kind of the process of which my room transforms from what it previously was to what it is now. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Hopefully you like the content that I provide, as I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. So come along with me as I do this transformation from a cluttered mess to an aesthetically pleasing and joyous office setup. Now for the steps of the office remodel. First up will be the design, then the removal, the build, and finally, the finished project. For the design, I used floorplanner.com, which offers up to 5 rooms for free. However, a little bit of a cheat on that. You can simply just keep editing the same room and never having to use your allotment of 5 rooms. As you can see here, not a ton is changing with the office, but I did look at creating a larger space for the desk, adding a drawer, but also adding an acoustic wall to both behind the desk and to the right of it, as well as adding a pegboard and some lighting, which you don't see in the design. Now, as for the room itself, you can see that it's just very cluttered. There's not really much organization. There is a little bit of lighting, and I do have my desk somewhat set up right, but my desk was also cracking under the weight of all of the items I had on it. My shelves were unorganized and really had no theme to them. My gaming corner and game collection was an absolute mess. And of course, my desk was just cluttered and had some random stuff on top of it. So it was time to make a change. Now for the fun part, removing all of the items in my office so that I can start fresh, be able to install the accent wall, and just overall have a better organizational method for the office. So as you can see here, we're going through removal of the desk, which, by the way, absolute pain to have to remove all the cords after I recently somewhat did a cable management on the desk. But as you can see here, it is continuing here where we switch to a new day where I'm going to remove the TV from the wall, clear out that corner of the space, removing all the items off the wall as well so that we can get started on the project of putting up the accent walls that I was able to find online. Next up is building the new desk for the space. I went with the Flexispot E6 from Amazon. Great budget stand-up desk that you can find. Flexispot overall as a company is just one of the more budget-friendly but high-quality desks available on the market. And this one fit all the needs that I needed, and it also was just a great price with a huge discount at the time, which I'll talk about more if you watch my full video review of this desk later on the channel. As far as the build goes, it was fairly straightforward and easy. The directions were for the most part clear. However, I did have some issues with the cable management because I placed the items where they were supposed to based on the pictures and the directions, and the cords ended up being too short. So I had to unscrew the desk legs, move the cable management back, and then was able to connect the cables correctly and work on some cable management underneath the desk. Now comes the fun part of the remodel, and that is getting the wall ready for the black acoustic panels that I found, and of course installing them. The great news is these acoustic panels came with adhesive on the back that is actually quite strong. Now, the nice thing about this is I wanted to go for the kind of wood panel look that a lot of people use, but the cost was just way too much. And so I found this really awesome budget-friendly polyester acoustic panel in black that I was able to then use and install, as you see here. One problem is I didn't have enough to completely finish it, so I then had to wait for another order of the panels, which come in boxes of 10. But while I waited for the second package to arrive, I went ahead and set up the monitor and the computer as well as the speakers, which are brand new to this setup, as I was replacing some older speakers for these wonderful Edifier R1280DB Bluetooth powered bookshelf speakers, and I also have some shelf speaker stands coming as well. Finally, the rest of the panels showed up and I was able to complete the job. It's not perfect, but I'm brand new to this and have no experience with a do-it-yourself project, so this is what it looks like, including some light installations. I also loved the pegboard idea I saw from a lot of people, and while I don't have an IKEA anywhere near me and the cost to ship anything from there is outrageous, I went ahead and found a metal pegboard on Amazon for a pretty good price and installed it on the wall, including some lights behind it to give it a little bit more ambiance. Overall, the pegboard wasn't too difficult to install, and I'm very excited to see what else I can do with this. I'm definitely going to be doing a video on the pegboard by itself. Now, as for the lights, I went with Govee. I already had a bunch of Govee lights. This is what it looks like when they're all turned on, and I am changing the colors for them all together. Makes it super easy in the Govee app as well as the Google Home app. The best part of any setup is, of course, cable management, and I found an absolutely awesome option for that. I went for the stand-up desk store under desk cable management tray, which costs about $80 on Amazon. It's really long, strong, very solid piece of cable management, and it does a wonderful job to be able to hold a power strip and be able to have things attached to it. I also had, of course, the standing desk cable management vertebrae from Vivo, which does a great job with the one cord going into the wall. Next up is the Vivo adjustable under the desk and wall PC mount. Does a great job of holding my NZXT H6 Flow case. My computer houses a AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and a 5700 RXT graphics card. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, the reveal. Overall, the space just feels a lot warmer and just better organized, but especially the lights, the pegboard, the wall, and then just cleaning up the clutter and getting a much more organized space just makes it so much better to come to each and every day. Now, I'm no professional or anything like that. I'm simply a work from home employee wanting to make a better space. And for what I was able to accomplish, I feel like it's a great space. I ended up reusing my prior desk shelf, which is a much cheaper version that you can find on Amazon, which allowed me to store things like some of my collectibles, as well as an audio switch and the power puck for my monitor light bar, which is not the BenQ like a lot of people do, simply because that model does not work with my curved ultra wide screen. So I got one that was a lot cheaper and curved to the screen and fit very nicely in my space. The pegboard allowed me to organize a few more things, and I still have some more plans for it in the future. And what do you know, the Flexispot desk does a great job of being able to lift up all of the weight that I have on top of it compared to my old cheaper version of the desk. So overall, I can highly recommend the Flexispot desk for those budget kind of mid-range setups if you're looking for a nice standing desk. In conclusion, this was a really nice remodel, and I'm really excited with how it ended up. Of course, no work is done, and I'm sure I will be making some more tweaks and upgrades to the overall setup and space as time goes on. But for now, I'm really excited and happy with it, and hopefully you enjoyed kind of watching this process with me. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and of course, like and subscribe this video if you like what you see. Until next time, I'm Russ, the ordinary tech guy. I'll see you later.